All right, so here we go. This is going to be a recording of me doing a artist remark on a print that I have out here. This is something I've been doing for quite a few years, actually. But specifically, this one here is on a Deadpool, so I'm going to go and get started on this, and I can talk about it a little bit. This is a commission piece. So it's on a Deadpool piece that I drew, I illustrated and colored, and in my delegated area right here. And then I'll probably sign it right here too. I usually try to leave room for signature because when you sign it over color, you can't really see it that well. Yeah, unless I were to use like a silver or a gold marker. That's always a fat line. I don't want to do that. I'd prefer just to sign it in ink like the rest of this. So I'll go ahead and get started here. Shouldn't take me actually too long to do this. I already laid it out. Got my contours pretty close to where I want them for the basic shapes, and that usually helps out a lot. So and this piece here is actually going to end up in the hands of Chris Rizzo, who's one of the biggest Deadpool fans that I know. Active member of many chats. Making sure I got my focus set up here. Once in a while when I do these videos, I forget to lock the focus so it starts going in and out, but it appears that I actually remembered this time. So, yay, no restarts, which I've had to do on a few other videos. These here too, I do not do color on these. This is specifically printed on an art-friendly paper that I asked for, and yeah, very similar to the paper that I draw my actual comic book pages on. I'm doing most of the inks on this outline here using a Unipen brush marker. Lately I've been digging some of the line variation I get out of it, so there's that. And thank you to anyone who's been taking part in my my live claim streams lately. Those have been fun. I still have hundreds of boxes that I need to get out of this house. So each and every one of you who decide to grab some of my artwork, prints, books, whatever, thank you very much. It helps eliminate a lot of what's going on in the living room, bedroom, storage facility, every room. My allergies are not letting up. Something I do also when I ink is, which I rarely do actually. I rarely ink anything anymore. I generally just go pencil straight to color, but um, started not necessarily marrying every line that I lay down and being okay with a little bit of wonkiness here and there. And if there's anything that bothers me enough, what I will actually do is go in and thicken stuff up, muddy things up if I need to, um, things like that. I am going to use regular liner though for his weapon because I need it to be a little bit of a dead line on top. Um, Dead line meaning just more of a flat surface line, nothing too spicy. There are artists who actually deadline everything. I just don't like that look. I prefer some line weights and stuff in everything that I do. I feel like a lot of the deadlining stuff is kind of just artists being lazy sometimes and not wanting to deal with maybe post edits. I'm not really sure what it is. That's part of comics with cartooning. You gotta play with line weights, gotta play with variation, line variation, and all that. I've just never understood when people shortcut it. Like if you're gonna spend the time, make it nice, right? Like as nice as possible. And these are pretty short lines too. Usually on like weaponry, swords, things like that, I would normally use a ruler of some sort. This one I might actually want to on the inside. I want it to be a little bit of symmetry between this edge and the far edge. So I do tend to lean a little bit. A little to the left, sometimes a little to the right. Yeah, Chris had asked me a while back about if I had any of these remarks that were Deadpool based. I was like, no, I can work one up. So here it is. I'm working one up. And then right here, I'm just blocking in some areas that are going to be jet black, fully spotted blacks in here, and meaning, the whole area gets filled in black ink of some sort. And I keep looking. I got a Sharpie here. I'm not using this on this, by the way. avoid Sharpies at all costs on original artwork. I would actually even say avoid them on signatures if possible. Sharpies over time tend to turn either purple or blue depending on the surface that they're used on. Comics, art pages, doesn't really matter. Sharpie ink just, I don't know what it is. Chemically, it's probably the highest concentrated alcohol-based ink out there, in my opinion. So it might have something to do with it. But I know several popular artists who have used it for, spotting blacks or full-on inks, where they use like the fine tip and stuff. And those pages are getting around 20, 30 years old, and they do not look pretty. Very easy to spot. If you ever see any of the artist edition books that IDW puts out, very, very easy to spot. There is a McFarlane one coming out, and I've already noticed on some of the images that I've seen that he definitely was using some non-traditional ink for the purpose of, filling black or even some effects, where it reproduced well back in the 80s, but judging what I'm seeing on these originals, on these scans or photographs that they use, it's very easy. The artistic eye will tell you. Matter of fact, even with the amount of time that's gone by, someone who might not exactly know what they're looking at is even going to be able to see it. I am a fan of leaving a lot of those little speckles and wrinkle lines under the eyes and things like that. And I usually just try to let them develop organically while I'm drawing. I don't try to plan them out. Sometimes it's a little bit overkill, and then I can go in and throw some black over it to eliminate some of them if it seems a little too heavy with that kind of work. Oh, I just realized this is for Patreon, so a lot of you won't see this until after I release it for a public video. So this is going to be, it'll be a while before anyone actually sees this, which is fine. Rizzo, by the time this video is made as a public video, I'm sure he'll have already showed it off. Better have showed it off. This pen here, this is a Unipen 1.0, which is basically a 10. Size-wise, it would be equivalent to the size of a medium point Sharpie, which is not necessarily a chisel tip. It's not the fine point. It's the one in between. Probably the most common one, actually. Alright, so I got that all established. Should need to bring some right here. When I'm done, I am going to bring a little bit of an eraser over it, but just to get rid of some of the line art, which I'm not seeing in the video. I can see a little bit right here. Um, but for the most part, going over these lines, it's kind of masking most of it. I've never been sure what these straps across the shoulder are made of. I try to kind of texture them up a bit, but I'm not sure what kind of material they're intended to look like. I don't think they're leather because of their placement. It'd be really uncomfortable to have leather straps like that under your armpits, especially with a character like Deadpool. So I don't think that's what they are. Majority of this here I'm using a 5 and a 3 liner. Tends to lay down very easily on this specific stock. Usually I would probably go in with honestly, probably like a 1 and work my way up, but since it is a sketch, just going all in. majority of this costume color too is red, so it's not like I can come in and render it the way I would like a dark blue or black and things like that. So I'm just trying to keep it semi-interesting. But Deadpool's one of those characters like Spidey where you can't really, you gotta be careful with overworking it. He's more on the brighter side of red and all right. So I'm out on time here. So about 20 minutes. Not too bad. At a convention or if I'm non-commentary sketching, if I'm really focused on this, these are usually about a 15-20 minute job for me. Quick in, quick out. Do several of them at conventions, just sitting there. So they get a cool color illustration right above it too. So I'm glad I thought of it. There have been lots of people that have been doing remarks and things like that, but I have never seen anybody do a specifically a sketch version of one for like art prints and fan art and stuff like that. So I decided, well, I'm going to make my own. I'm not going to wait for someone else to do it first. But I have noticed there's been a few artists that have kind of picked up on what I do, and just fine. But I do like to think outside the box on quite a few things with my approach. All right, so all right, it's getting there. Leaving a little bit of these tick line details for those crazy face wrinkles that don't actually exist, but they look cool, you know, on these characters. So we continue to draw them. All right, so I think that's actually pretty darn good for what it is. I'm gonna bring some white out in, do erasing first. I'll bring some white out in, sign it, and then that's it. And I managed to keep this under an hour. Just a little bit of banter. Again, my pencils on here were really light. I use a 4H lead for stuff that I'm going to ink. Otherwise, I just use a regular HB, super HB lead for pencil stuff that I'm going to go straight to color with. So let's get rid of all this nastiness, eraser stuff. Let's see, I'm going to grab an 8. Let me find an 8 here somewhere. I always sign in an 8. Notice the 5 is too thin, and the 1 is too thick. So let's sign it, and I'm going to do the whiteout stuff on here. So. All right, there's that. Legible. Legible. All right. Use my trusty Posca pen here. I think it might be running out, but we'll see. See if it'll work here. Accentuating some of the I don't know what you call it, the brow, you know, some of the light that would be hitting and showing you the brow line. Someone's being squinty. All right, and then I am going to break this up too. These are just little areas of his gun that have metal pieces breaking apart on it, so create some separation there. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna actually, you know what? I need to hit this one corner up and then it's done. There it goes, where that little shine hits it. Alright. So that is that. I broke a 30-minute mark. Alright, so about 30 minutes. So there you go, Rizzo. There's your Deadpool.